Cool, so welcome everyone, and yeah, hopefully some more people arrive sort of mid-lecture. And today we'll be covering interfaces. This I think is a very cool topic in the course because it'll allow us to see, like, really put together a lot of the things that we've learned. And you'll see it makes it very easy to create things that are quite cool. So what we're going to do is create like a sort of text-based adventure game almost. Well, it's not really a full game, but you'll be able to pick a weapon and pick an enemy and then attack the enemy with that weapon. Okay, and the enemy will also be able to attack you. And we'll use interface to do this. So do you know any decent VM machines I can use for Linux Kali? Okay, yeah, I just generally don't like using VMs. You should consider dual booting. If you have a laptop, then dual boot it with Linux. It works quite nicely. When are we doing this? When are we doing this school? What do you mean? Abstract virtual at school. Oh geesh, I don't know. Have you gone back to are you guys back at school yet? No. Okay, no, we'll do it on Rex Tester, like we've done everything. And I'm not even sure if we'll ever, because it's also a question of whether I'll be allowed back at your school, hey? Because students might be allowed, but might not be able to get a pass. So there's that as well. I'm not sure how long we'll be doing this online for. But I mean, I'm not minding it too much. Cool. So before we get started with interfaces, we're gonna have to revise some concepts before we get started on that. Okay, 3rd of August. Cool. I'll keep that in mind. So, okay, cool. We'll have to remember Logan's birthday as well. So let me think. What we're going to do is revise the word abstract. Okay, so what we're going to revise what the concept of an abstract class is. So in order to do this, I'm just going to create a normal class, one that we're probably quite familiar with now. I'm going to say class rectangle. All right. Don't worry, the classes will get more interesting in a bit. Actually, let's just start with the actual thing. Let's say class enemy. Okay. Today we're doing yeah, but you will also be given a coding assignment. So that'll make up for the remaining 30 minutes. And if you guys have any questions in the last 30 minutes, you're welcome to ask them. I probably won't go anywhere. Okay, cool. So class enemy. All right. Okay, we know what an enemy is, right? So this is the class that's going to define the abstract idea of an enemy inside our game. All right. So I think enemies have to be able to attack us. Okay, enemies have to be able to attack us. So actually, yeah, we can decide on this now. The other schools had, so I think Crawford had dragons and goblins. Bryanston had ninjas and robots. What do you guys think? What should our 2 enemy types be? What should we make our enemies? Plants and zombies. Okay, we can go for zombies, but plants wouldn't be our enemies, right? They would be our weapons if we're going to say plants versus zombies. And Rick and Morty would be objects. They wouldn't really be like a type of enemy. I like zombies though. We'll work with zombies. What are the types of zombies? Zombies and cowboys. Actually, you know what? Those aren't bad enemies. So let's go with those, zombies and cowboys. Cool. All right. So we're gonna have a class enemy. Now, what are enemies going to have to do? They have to be able to attack us, right? So if we didn't know, let's pretend we don't know the concept of inheritance or any of these other things. How would we make an enemy attack? What structure would I put inside my class to define a way for an enemy to attack? Well, how would we do that, guys? What is that structure called? The one that would define something like attacking? Anyone know? Ooh. Well, what is a constructor, Tali? What is a constructor? It's a what would we call a constructor? It's not the only thing of its type. What do we call those things? How do I define like a procedure in code, like an algorithm? Where would I type that? Where would I put it? What do we call the thing that I put that in? Anyone remember? I've already given you a hint, right? It's contained inside a class. So what two things are inside classes, and which one would we use to define a way for an enemy to attack? Ah, okay, cool. Method. Don't worry about it. We still need to warm up. Yeah, a method. A method's correct. Okay. So we'll define a method, right? An attack method. So public void attack, something like that. Okay. So our enemies just are going to need to be able to attack you, right? So I'll say in here we can just say console.writeLine. The enemy attacks you. Okay, something like that. What else do our enemies need? They probably need a name, right? We need a way to refer to each enemy in the game. You might also say they need a level. And what would those be? If I wanted to store the name and the level, HP. HP is a good suggestion, like a number of hit points. But what would I store these things in? What do we call these things when they're inside a class? What would they be? Ah, DAP joint. Cool. I'll mark the other people on the register when they after we stop recording, because I don't want to give away properties. Precisely. Yeah, they're called properties. So a name would be what type, guys? What type would a name be? Why, you must watch the videos, Dapper. But last week, not knowing last week's stuff won't affect you much for this week, so that's lucky. But do go back and watch that video. Public string exactly name, and then we use the auto implemented getters and setters like that. Okay. And like if we had hit points, they would be an integer, for example. If we had a level, that would also probably be an integer or a double or something. But let's not think about any of that. Let's keep it simple for now. Right, let's keep it simple. Cool. So this defined a class enemy, right? And if I wanted to create an enemy object, I could say enemy n equals new enemy, something like that. All right. I could say something like that. It has no constructor, so I wouldn't have to specify any arguments or anything like that. And so now if I say n.attack, right, when I run this, it'll say the enemy attacks you. The enemy attacks you. Okay. But that's a pretty boring attack method. I think we can all agree, right? We've decided that we're going to have zombies and cowboys as our enemies in our game. And so, I mean, obviously, cowboys and zombies are going to attack in different ways, right? These enemies, they'll have different names as well. They'll be very different from one another. Okay, so we've got this idea of an enemy, and it defines a way to attack. But do you guys recall, if I inherit from enemy will inherit this way to attack, right? And I don't want that. This attack functionality is worthless. The enemy attacks you. Exactly. A zombie will bite and a cowboy shoots. Okay. They have different attack methods. They both need to have an attack method because all our enemies must be able to attack. But they wouldn't attack in the same way. So how we would do this currently is we would say something like abstract class. Right? So it's saying like this enemy class, you're not supposed to create objects of it directly. So if I make it abstract, then this is no longer allowed. All right, you're not allowed to create an object directly. And likewise, we would say public abstract void attack. Okay, and then that'll make it so that this is not allowed. I'm no longer allowed to specify the body of the attack method. So I would only be allowed to do this. So I'm allowed to say it has this attack method. The attack method returns void. It doesn't take any arguments in. but I can't tell you anything more specific than that yet. When you inherit from this class, then you'll specify all of these things. Exactly. So it means you have to change it, basically. You have to implement it, right? Because currently there is no way to attack. It's just an abstract concept that enemies have to be able to attack. Okay? So that's what the word abstract means, and I just wanted to remind you guys of what this means, because it's an easier way to understand the concept that we're going to learn in this lecture. All right. And you'll see this kind of concept allows us to define really complicated structures very quickly, so that in the next hour and a half or even hour and 15 minutes, we'll be able to get a pretty decent like logic or flow going for a text-based adventure game. Okay. Almost. It's like saying the enemy has to be able to attack, but I'm not going to tell you how yet, because I haven't even told you what the enemy type is. So yeah, but if we'll understand it more just now. But now you'll see when I run this, it gives me quite a few. It'll give me this error. It says cannot create an instance of abstract class or interface enemy. So you see, because I'm trying to say enemy n equals new enemy, it's saying I'm not allowed to do that because class enemy is abstract. Okay. Cool. So it's the same as we would use the word abstract. Yeah, it has no weapon. It's the same as we use the word abstract on the day-to-day, right? It's an abstract concept. There's no concrete. You can't use it in a concrete way yet, right? We have to define that way to do it. Okay, so that was just the concept of abstract methods. It didn't need to take too long, because even if you don't get them, that's just an easier way to understand today's topic. It's not the only way. Okay. Oh, Zoom, come on, mate. Okay. Cool. All right. So, interfaces are similar to abstract classes. Okay. In fact, an interface is basically a class where everything is abstract. Okay, everything. The class itself, all of the properties and all of the methods, it's all just abstract. Okay. If you don't get that way of understanding it, don't worry, because you're going to see lots of examples today of how interfaces are used. But if you do remember what abstract means, then this can be an easy way to understand and come to grips with interfaces. Okay, but how we're going to explain it is we're just going to create a game. All right. Our game is going to have weapons. Okay, we're going to have to redefine a lot of these weapons. So I'm going to close the slide quickly. Okay, so we're going to together create 2 weapons and 2 enemies. We've already agreed that we're going to have zombies as our enemy and cowboys. Okay, and we're going to fight the zombies with spear and sword. I like spear. Spear is creative. Can we get something cooler than a sword, though? Because another school used the sword. I haven't seen a spear before. That one's pretty creative, because you can throw it or like jab with it. The spear's a nice one. Anyone? A tomahawk. Huh. Yeah, okay. I mean, like an axe or a machete is nice, and that's also culturally relevant to South Africa. Boomerang. Were machetes created in I don't know. Where did a machete originate? Let's learn. Oh, they have lots of cultural variations. What's the formal definition of a machete? A broad blade used as an implement like an axe, or in combat like a short sword. Okay, so it's just a special kind of short sword then. And it's from the Spanish language. Okay, interesting. Boomerangs are nice. Oh, yeah, shall we? Okay, I'm struggling to guess between... Boomerang is fun, and this way we would have a melee weapon and a range weapon. So we've got a boomerang which we can throw at our enemies. And is that how you spell boomerang? Okay, looks like Google Slides agrees, so we'll trust Google Slides. This is not left there. No, but we need like a range weapon and a melee weapon, right? Unless you guys want to use like a gun or a bow and arrow or something. I don't know. I think these ones are fine. Let's not spend too much time getting stuck on which... Ooh, a slingshot is very cool. Actually, but today's coding assignment, you'll be able to add a slingshot to yours, Bryn. And you'll be able to add and change whatever you want about this code. Okay, cool. So we're gonna create 2 weapons and 2 enemies together, and then you guys are gonna be able to add your own weapons and enemies as a part of the coding assignment. Okay. Cool. So I weapon. All right. So we're gonna have 2 weapons, like we just agreed. We're gonna have a spear that implements the I weapon interface, and we're gonna have a boomerang that implements the I weapon interface. Now you might see this looks a lot like, remember when we had person and doctor inherited from person and nurse inherited from person? And we also had polygon and rectangle inherited from polygon and square inherited from polygon. This is actually a very similar idea to inheritance. It's just that you have to remember that everything is abstract in the interface. So it's like inheritance, but everything is abstract. Okay. I enemy, we're going to have 2 I enemies, a zombie I enemy and cowboy I enemy. Okay. So this is the structure we're going to define, but we're going to define it using interfaces. So everything's going to be abstract. Good question, Taddy. So we put I before interfaces, just in general. So it stands for interface, and like if you've heard iPhone and things like that, this is where that standard came from. And we do, like, it's just the coding standard. If you're creating an interface, you put a capital I before its name. Okay, but it's also not it's not essential. C# won't see it and won't really use it, but it's good practice so that other programmers know when they see an I in front of it, they'll know that everything is abstract. So they'll understand what all of the errors mean when they run it for the first time, if they haven't implemented some of the methods that your interface requires. So yeah, just lets other programmers know what to expect when working with your code. Okay, so yeah, we just call them I weapons and I enemies. Now you can picture how difficult the structure would be to define if we didn't know about interfaces, right? So we would say, okay, spears have to be able to attack zombies, all right? Boomerangs also have to be able to attack zombies. Spears have to be able to attack cowboys, and boomerangs have to be able to attack cowboys. So you see there, we would have had to define 4 relationships just for these 2 weapons and 2 enemies. And if you added 1 more enemy, you would have to define 6 relationships. If you added 1 more weapon, you would have to define 9 relationships. So it gets totally crazy, right? Like as you add things, if you have to define it in this one-to-one way, like define a way for a boomerang to attack a cowboy. Instead of doing that, no, it will show it, Taddy. You have to use the I inside C#. But like it doesn't require it. So you can name an interface without a capital I if you wanted to. It's just the standard to use it. Okay. So it would be a nightmare to create this 4-way relationship, right? So instead of doing that, what we can do is say all I weapons. So everything that is an I weapon. So spears are an I weapon, boomerangs are an I weapon. The weapons that you guys add yourself during the assignment, those will be I weapons. So we'll just say everything that's an I weapon will provide a method, provide a way to attack everything that is an I enemy. Okay, so everything that's an I weapon will be able to attack everything that's an I enemy. That's the structure that we're going to define today. So the I weapon interface will state, if you implement I weapon, you must provide a way to attack an I enemy. That's the structure we're going to create. Okay. And you'll see that we'll very quickly be able to build up this quite complicated structure. All right. So that's all we're going to need the slides today, really. The rest is all going to be in code. So we will be writing quite a lot today, but it'll be cool. Kind of wish this was a Unity course. Really? No. I mean, Unity is quite cool, but you don't want to get bogged down in graphic stuff before you even know C#, right? Ideally, you want to learn C# before jumping into the complexities of graphics and all of that stuff. All right, so notice how I had abstract class here. Now, for those of you who gelled with our revision and also remember the concept of abstract. No, so you can implement it with an abstract class. It's just interfaces provide some other benefits. And remember, Bryn, don't get bogged down in the name. Okay, if it's an interface, whether it's called weapon or I weapon, whatever it's called, if it's an interface, it'll be able to do what we're doing now. But it's we just call them I. We just put the I in front of it so that other programmers can understand what we're referring to. Okay, so I won't call it weapon. I'll call it I weapon, just so that everyone knows I'm referring to an interface. Okay, not a class. So it's just nice if you're working in a group of programmers, everyone will be on the same page. So we just call it that as a standard. Okay, so don't get too bogged down in the name of it. You can still call your interfaces whatever you want, if you want. It's just there are standards. Okay, so before we had abstract class. All right, abstract class. Instead of, yeah, that's true. Instead of abstract class, we're going to say interface. Now, I could leave it like this, guys. I could leave it like this. But because I want people to understand what we're working with, if anyone else accesses our Rex tester or when you guys come back to this code later, I'm going to put an I in front of it. And that'll show you that, okay, this is an interface. All right. So it's going to say I enemy, interface I enemy. Now, because it's interface I enemy, I no longer have to specify public. And here I no longer have to specify public abstract, because everything is assumed to be public and abstract. Okay. So that's that. Okay. Now, cool. So we've now defined our enemy interface, all right, our I enemy interface, Okay, and we can now begin by defining our two enemies, all right, because our enemies are slightly simpler, so let's define them first. Okay, and obviously, in order to define a weapon, we're going to need some enemies to attack, just to test that our weapon even works. Okay, so we decided we're going to have zombies, and we're going to have cowboys. Okay, so we've got class. All right, let's define the zombie first. All right, we're going to define the zombie first. So zombie implements. So we've been using this word as inherit, but when we're talking about interfaces, we'll say implements. Okay, so class zombie implements the I enemy interface. Okay, that's how I'll say that. It means a very similar thing though. You can see on the diagram, it looks a lot like what our diagram for inheritance was. Okay. The reason we would use interfaces instead of abstract classes is because in interface everything has to be abstract. Okay, which allows C# to relax some of the conditions. Okay. If you don't understand that level of it though, don't worry about it, as long as you can follow what the code is doing. Okay, we created an enemy interface, and all this is saying is that all enemies need to have a name, okay, a name property with getters and setters, and they need to have a way to attack. Okay, that's all this is saying. It's nothing too hectic. Okay, so when we say a zombie is a type of I enemy, actually let me show you this now. So we've defined zombie and we've said it implements I enemy. But you see I haven't defined anything inside zombie, right? I haven't defined anything inside zombie, it's just an empty class. When I run this, you can see it says zombie does not implement the interface member I enemy name. So what that's saying is you're implementing the I enemy interface. You have to have a name, okay? Because the I enemy interface says string name get set. Likewise, it says zombie does not implement the interface member I enemy attack. So what that's saying is the interface I enemy says that you must have a void attack method. You don't. Okay, so you have to tell the zombie has to show how it attacks. All right. Cool. So let's add those things, right? We know how to add a property. We'll just say string name get set, exactly like we say inside IEnemy. So we now define the property, and then we just need to define the attack method. Okay, and this is quite easy for us, luckily, because you can see it's already pretty much defined inside IEnemy, right? We know it's void, we know it takes in nothing, and then we just have to provide the body of this attack method. So how are zombies going to attack, guys? How are zombies going to attack? How are zombies going to attack? Keep in mind it's a text-based game. bites or scratch. Okay, cool. So we'll say console.writeLine, and we'll put the quotation marks because we want to print out a string, and we'll say the zombie bites you. Okay, but you see our zombies do have names in this case. Our zombies do have names, so let's use those. If I want to set the name of a zombie when I create a new zombie, what will I need, guys? What will I need in order to set the name property in a nice formal way? Exactly. Okay, and how many arguments and what are their types going to be into our constructor? Two, precisely. Ooh, let's just say public zombie. Ooh, 2. Would it be 2? How many properties do we have? We've only got a name, right? We've only got a name to set, so it'll take in 1 and we'll say name equals name. Okay. So this will allow us to give each of our zombies a name. Okay. And now what we can do that's cool. So currently, let me create a zombie object, and we know how to do this. So we'll say, I'm going to comment here and say create enemies, just to let you guys know that this is where or create enemy objects, let's say. Just to let you guys know that this is where we're creating the enemy objects. Okay, and I'll say zombie, and we'll call this one zombie1, for example, equals new zombie. And what should the name of our first zombie be, guys? No. I'll explain that when we get to the end. Gerald, Bob. Good. I think Gerald is more of a cowboy name, and Bob is a great zombie name. We'll call our zombie Bob. Okay. Now, what's cool? So currently, if I say zombie1.attack, Bob the zombie, precisely. If I say zombie1.attack, okay, spelling attack wrong. Okay, if I say zombie1.attack, this is just going to go ahead and print out the zombie bites you. All right, so if I run this, interface, enemy name, zombie name, cannot implement. Let me think. Ooh. What am I doing? Okay, cool. I just had to make our property public because it has to stay public. Okay, because remember the class, the word class, if we define a property inside it, it defaults to private. But we need it to be public. Okay, so that was the problem there. But don't worry too much about that. So your properties have to be public, which just makes sense. Okay, so zombie1 equals new zombie, and we called it Bob. And when we say zombie1.attack, it just comes to the attack method and it prints out the zombie bites you. Okay, and you can see it printed out the zombie bites you. That's not a great, I mean, we've come up with this great name for our zombie. And yeah, so we should say Bob the zombie bites you, ideally. Okay, so how I'm going to do that, it's just a little trick, guys. So, I mean, pay attention so that you know how to do the trick yourself when you're doing the assignment. But what we can do is put a $sign before the string. And you have actually seen this before. We did it in the last lecture. We can put a $sign in front of the string. And then inside the string, we can put these curly brackets. And then I can type a name there. Okay, or a variable. So you see our property is called name. And so inside here, exactly, it's like a template. Okay, so this will say Bob, and then I'll say the zombie bites you. Okay, so now if we change the name of our zombie, it'll change the name of the zombie that's biting you. So you see it prints out Bob the zombie bites you. If I change the name of the zombie to, what was the other suggestion? Pete. That's more of a South African zombie. It'll say Pete the zombie bites you. Okay. Cool. Yeah, let's just to remind people that this is this game was made in South Africa. We can keep it as Pete. All right. So now it says Pete the zombie bites you. Okay. Creflo, is this what you're what the hecking about? So if you, it's just a special way of writing it. Now I'm lost because of the top. The top, this bit. You're lost because of this. Well, this was just me specifying the name of the zombie. So if I just change that to Bob, you know what this is. This is creating a zombie object. So we say it's type zombie, its name is zombie1, and we say equals new zombie. Okay, cool. Well, it's okay. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can change the name of your zombie to whatever you want. Okay, so this is just us creating a zombie object. Okay, don't worry though. We'll see this line of code a lot, or a similar line of code a lot. We'll create a lot of objects today. Okay, so that handles zombies. Hopefully most people are happy with how we created zombies. That bear, don't worry, because we're going to create cowboys now, and it'll be exactly the same. So if you didn't understand the zombie one, then just concentrate during the cowboy one. And don't worry, I'm going to give you all of this code for the assignments as well. So you won't have to figure it out later. Okay, so guys, so this was how we created a zombie. What do you think I'm going to write in order to create a cowboy? You guys just give me this first line. This first line here, you see? Except for cowboys. What will I change? You can type out the whole line. It's only, 3 words and 2 characters. Class, cowboy, enemy. Precisely. It's super easy, right? That's how we're going to define a cowboy. So we'll say class, cowboy, enemy. Implements enemy, and then we just need to put our 2 curly brackets to open and close it, and hit enter to give us some space to type the rest of the code. Okay, so we've got our closed curly brackets, and you see Rex Tester nicely highlights for us as well. This is the cowboy class. All right, what 2 things do I need? Cowboy implements enemy. What 2 things do we need? What 2 things do all cowboys need? Name and attack. Exactly. We can literally, and we are going to add a constructor as well, just because it doesn't need the constructor though. So Tadi, you're correct. They need a name and attack. We want to be able to give our cowboys names. So we're also going to say that we're going to create a constructor as well. So I could just copy down the zombie code, but because we're new to programming, we're going to type them all out. Okay, so in order to create the name property, we'll say public string name get set. So that's literally exactly the same as it was in zombie. You guys can see here, this is zombie. So we created the name property here. Okay, so we're comfortable with that. We need to create our cowboy constructor. And our cowboy constructor is going to be exactly the same as our zombie constructor. All we have to change is that the zombie constructor is called zombie, and our cowboy constructor is going to be called cowboy, obviously. And this is because the special rule about constructors is that they always have the same name as the class. Okay, so this will say name equals name, exactly like the other one, and it needs to take in a string name. Okay, comfortable with that. What do we say for static void main? What, in order to create a cowboy object, you mean that boy? That bear? We'll go up and create a cowboy object just now. Let's just finish implementing the cowboy class first. Okay, so we've now got name, we've got the cowboy constructor. The last thing we need is to attack, right? We need a way for the cowboy to attack, because if we don't create that, it's going to give us errors. So we say public void attack, and how are cowboys going to attack? They'll shoot, right? Obviously. Okay, our cowboys are going to shoot. So we'll say console.writeLine, and we're going to use their name again this time, because we learned from the zombie, right? So we say $name, so this is the name of the zombie. Whatever the name is will be printed there, because this is like a template, and then say the zombie bites you. So we're going to say... okay, and we're also going to use the name. It has the same structure, but this time it'll be name the cowboy shoots you. Okay, name the cowboy shoots you, or shoots at you. Obviously, in most of the movies, people usually miss. So, okay, name the cowboy shoots at you. Okay, Cool. So now the big question is, how do we use this? So we've created a zombie equals new zombie. In order to create a cowboy, guys, what do you think I'm going to have to change here? So what are we going to have to change in order to create a cowboy object instead of a zombie object? Looking at that first line. So we've got this here. How am I going to create a cowboy? Cowboy 1, so that's a good start, equals what? I mean, we don't have to call it cowboy 1, exactly, new cowboy, and then we'll put in brackets after it what the name of our cowboy should be. Yeah, cowboy equals new cowboy, yeah. So we'll say something like cowboy, I'll just call, just to make sure, to emphasize the fact that the names don't matter, guys. I'm just going to call mine CB for cowboy. Okay, and we'll call him CB1. Equals new cowboy. Okay, and we just have to specify the name. What's the name of our cowboy going to be? Woody. Not bad. Okay, Woody the cowboy. Okay, and now guys, how am I going to make that cowboy object? How am I going to make that cowboy object attack? Oh yeah, that's correct. This is going on YouTube, remember. Hopefully Disney doesn't sue me for distributing this content for free to like my 5 viewers. CB1.attack, exactly. Good one, Tuddy. So it'll be CB1.attack. Okay, correct. So now this will print out Pete the zombie bites you, and then it'll print out Woody the cowboy shoots at you. So you see it says Bob the zombie. Oh, sorry, I changed the name back to Bob, so it's going to print Bob the zombie. Okay, I changed the name back. So it says Bob the zombie bites you and Woody the cowboy shoots at you. Okay, Woody the cowboy shoots at you. So we've got our 2 enemies and they work. Okay, so now the zombies can bite us, and if we create another zombie, I hope you guys can see our method will still work. So we can create as many zombies as we like by simply creating more objects, right? And likewise, we can create as many cowboys as we like by just creating more cowboy objects. So hopefully you guys are comfortable with this idea. But you can see now our zombies can attack us and our cowboys can shoot at us. Our zombies can bite us, our cowboys can shoot at us, but we can't defend ourselves yet, right? So if we go back to our diagram here, okay. Don't worry, you'll be able to just copy mine at the end up there and then make your edits, and you'll have more time to do it then as well. So you see we've defined the structure on the left here. All right, we've done this. We've created an enemy. We've created zombies that implements enemy. We've created cowboys, and they also implement enemy. Okay, so we've created this thing on the right here. We haven't created this weapon thing yet. We haven't created spears. We haven't created boomerangs. So none of this is done. So let's go ahead and do this side, and then we'll be able to see why this is such a nice idea. Okay, so we have to begin by creating the weapon interface. All right, the weapon interface. So looking at the enemy interface, guys, looking at the enemy interface, how do you think I'm going to create the weapon interface? How are we going to do this? What at least will be the first line for our weapon interface? Interface weapon, precisely. Super simple. So we'll just say interface weapon. All right. Okay. And now we just need to decide what exactly our weapons are going to have. So, they're going to have, I think it makes sense to have names, right? The weapons should have names, okay? In that we must be able to say this is a spear and this is a whatever. We need to be able to reference what the name of these things are. And hell, even if you want to give your spear like a special name, I don't know what you would call it. But like it's a special spear, you should maybe be able to do that. So, yeah, exactly. So let's just allow it so that our weapons have names. So we'll just say string name, and we'll use the auto implemented get and setters. Okay. In a real game, you would also give them a level of damage. So I can hope you see you would just say int damage get set, something like that. We won't go that in depth yet. We're just gonna leave it with a name. What's the other super important thing our weapons need to be able to do, guys? They've got a name. Looking at our enemy interface, what do our weapons need to be? Exactly, they need to be able to attack. So we're gonna create void attack. Okay. But now there is a special difference here. Okay, guys. So I need to give the weapon a target to attack, right? I want to be able to say, okay, take this spear and attack the zombie, or attack this specific cowboy. Like it specify a particular object. What type is my target going to be? Yo, Tuddy, you're on a roll. Very clever. Yeah, Bryn, close. But remember, we've got zombies and we've got cowboys, right? We've got zombies and we've got cowboys. But don't worry, Bryn. You're thinking along the correct line, definitely. Because you see, zombies do implement enemy, and cowboys implement enemy. Okay. So if you guys remember that word is, right? If I say console.writeLine. Okay. We've got this CB, don't worry, we'll take a break just now. We've got this CB1 thing, right? Who's a cowboy. If I say CB1 is cowboy, you remember this will print out true. But if I say CB1 is enemy, this will also print out true. Okay. So the special thing about the enemy interface is that cowboys, zombies, and whatever enemy you guys are going to add yourself will all be enemies. So all of them will be able to go into the attack method. So we won't have to define an attack method for zombies and cowboys. We'll define one attack method, and it will be able to attack both zombies and cowboys. Okay, so that's what's very cool about this. Anyway, so we've got string name void attack. Okay, so the thing we're looking at here, the iWeapon interface. Let me make this full screen because it's getting a bit chaotic. Okay, we've got our iWeapon interface. What we've been discussing is the type for the target that we are attacking is going to be an enemy. Good stuff. Cool. So it's been 45 minutes. So let's take a break. We'll come back at, say, I'm going to give a very specific time, 14:51. And get started again, because I do want to finish this stuff today. I guess that's a very weird time to end our break, isn't it? Let's make it 14:52. Okay, around then we'll get started again, and yeah, and try to finish this little example, and then I'll explain to you how you guys are going to continue. Yeah, we should actually finish with plenty of time left, I assume. Because this was the tough concepts for today, but I think you guys get it. You understand how an enemy can be passed into the attack method, right? That this is just another type, right? This interface has allowed us to create this new type of enemy. But yeah, we'll discuss this more at 14:52. Okay. Do you have questions, Strap Bear? I can answer them now if you need. Yeah, I suppose it's a text interface. Remember that even if you were making a very even if you were making a very complicated game, you would still use interfaces. Okay. Like this is how, like any AAA game you play will be using interfaces. If it's made, yeah, definitely if it's Unity. This is the professional way of doing it in C#. This is how, even if you were working at like a very professional place, you would use interfaces to create these various objects. My friends are playing are playing to break down this pay to win MC server. They're going nuts. Okay, that's fun. Yeah, I didn't even know Minecraft could be. So yeah, correct. Like the game we're making, Bryn, is a very simple text-based game. But even if you were creating a complicated game, you're always going to use interfaces. It's pretty much the best way of doing things. Interesting. That's a lot. Okay, I'm going definitely. Oh, cool. Yeah. It's quite. And you'll see you are able to create pretty complicated games like this. Okay, I'm going to just go get some water quickly. I'll come back before we have to start again in sort of 3 minutes. Ouch. Subscription plan. I mean, just don't play it. That's the trick. Cool. Yeah, a lot of things are becoming like monthly subscription based. Yeah, weird paying for a specific game like that. Okay, refocus. Let's start again. Cool. So we've created this interface eye weapon. All right. Let me see how well you guys are generalizing this. Knowing this, guys, is how I create a zombie that implements eye enemy. How am I going to create a spear that implements eye weapon? So looking at how we create the zombie and cowboy eye enemies, how will we create a spear that implements eye weapons? Damn. Yeah, Tidy, you're definitely on point. Okay, so it'll be class spear, eye, weapon. You guys were typing other stuff. Okay, class, spear, eye, weapon. I'll tell you what, let's do both at once. But yeah, okay, Toddy, you don't answer this one. give others a chance. How would I create a boomerang that implements eye, weapon? How would I implement a boomerang that implements eye, weapon? No, it's nothing against you, Toddy. It's just that you answer every single. You manage to answer all the questions, and now other people are complaining that they don't get a chance. Class, boomerang, eye, weapon. Good stuff. Okay, cool. Toddy, you can start answering all the questions again now. Now that other people have gotten a chance. Okay, class, boomerang, eye, weapon. Okay, boomerang is quite a lot to type. If I call it boom, then we'll think it's a bomb. So, okay, fine. We'll stick with boomerang. Alright, so we've created these two classes, and you guys agree now this will give us a ton of errors, right? Because spear doesn't have a name yet, and it doesn't have an attack method yet, right? Likewise, boomerang doesn't have a name yet and doesn't have an attack method yet. Okay, so we need to implement all of these different things. Yeah, exactly. We need to implement the properties, and we need to implement the methods as well. So we must say sort of public string name. The name is easy to get out of the way because it's literally exactly the same as it is in the interface, except also public. Okay, so we'll say public string name get set. Alright, so that adds the name property to both our spears and of our boomerangs. But if we ran this, we would still get two errors. It'll complain that the spear doesn't implement attack. It doesn't implement iWeapon.attack. And likewise, boomerang doesn't implement iWeapon.attack. So, cool. What we have to do is implement the method now, the attack method. Okay, this is, it's pretty clear actually how we would do this, right? The difference with this attack method is it has to take in a thing of type iEnemy, right? That's the main difference. So we're gonna have to say public void attack, open normal brackets, open curly brackets, give ourselves some space to type. Okay. Likewise, here we're going to say public void attack. Ooh, oh, Dape, you know what? That's a very good point. We do have to create a constructor as well, probably, if we want to set the name of each of our weapons. So we will create a method called spear as well for the constructor, if that's what you were saying. So cool. I'm just going to create the attack method first, I suppose. well anyway, even if it was unconscious, it was a good point. So yeah, let's just go ahead and create our spear constructor. What will our spear constructor be called, guys? Here's an easy one. Can anyone answer? What will our spear constructor be called? Yeesh. Yes, exactly. Public spear. Okay. Cool. I'm going to show you something new, maybe a little bit. Let's say currently our spears aren't going to have unique names. Okay. So you guys know that I could type here in the spear constructor, I could say string name, and then I could say something like name equals name, right? So that will allow you, when you create a new spear, it'll allow you to set the name of that spear, right? You guys have seen that before. But what I'm going to do this time is say you don't provide a name, and all spears are just called spear. Okay, you guys okay with that idea? And yeah, not too bad. So Yeah, you could call it whatever you want, but the primary thing is that currently what happens now is whenever you create a sphere object, the name of that sphere will always just be set to sphere. Okay, so that's just what we've done there. All right. And we'll do the same thing with boomerang. So I'm going to create a boomerang constructor, public boomerang. Okay, it just has the same name as the class, and it's not going to take anything in, and it's just going to set name equals to boomerang. Okay. We can maybe dap if we have time, but the primary thing will be getting the flow going, and hopefully you'll be able to see how you could easily just add these other properties if you wanted. Cool. Okay, but let's get sort of basic attack functionality working first. Okay. Now guys, when you look at here, look at the interface I weapon version of attack. Okay, you see it says void attack I enemy target. Now look at the spear version of attack. What would C# complain about here? What's wrong about Spear's attack method? Yeah, currently it doesn't have an output. That's definitely true. But if we look at... That wouldn't cause an error though, right? Because the body is allowed to be empty. If we look at the void attack method here in iWeapon, and we look at our attack method here in Spear, and also our attack method in Boomerang, what is wrong with the attack methods that we have in our classes? What is wrong with these? Dap Bear, good stuff. Precisely. So you can see, yeah, you need to input the target. Yes, definitely. That's definitely correct. So you can see currently we say void attack, and it says it must take in something of type I enemy that is a target. All right. But you can see public void attack inside Spear doesn't take anything in, and Boomerang doesn't take anything in. So yeah, that's correct. So we need to say I enemy target. I enemy target. Okay. So there we go. Now this won't give us an error. But what we still need to do is actually describe how spears and boomerangs are going to attack. Okay, this, and what we're going to do is quite cool. So look. Okay, we've got I enemy target, all right? Okay. So we've got I enemy target. What are we going to print out for a spear? How will a spear attack? It'll be like use spear and then print out the name of the enemy. I poketh thee. That's not bad. Stab is probably correct. But I don't mind poketh. So you say you poketh. I mean, very weird English. That's true. Swing is a bit of a questionable one. Okay, so we say you poketh, and we need to print out the character's name. Okay, big thing here, guys. Right, so the attack method is provided with an I enemy, right? Whenever we call the attack method, we have to provide it with an I enemy. You guys can see that, right? In our declaration of the attack method here, whenever you call it, you provide it with the I enemy. What I want to ask you, how will I get the name of the enemy that I'm provided? How will we get the name of the enemy that the attack method is attacking? It's a bit of a difficult question, but you should be able to answer it. You've seen it before. That's how we write inheritance, Tuddy. How? So let me ask you this. What is the name of the I enemy object inside the attack method? What is the name of the enemy object inside of the attack method? What have we set it to? It's target. That's correct. All right. So you can see the enemy takes the attack method takes in an enemy and it's called target. All right. So we've got a target object. Right. Target is an object of type enemy. How will I get its name? How will I get the name of that object? What's the name of the object, Huddy? You'll have to use the name of the object. Okay, so we've got public void attack. Okay, it takes in an object of type enemy, and it calls it target. We know that all enemies have a name, right? Remember we specified the names of ours were what? Bob and what was the name of our cowboy? Woody. Okay, Bob and Woody. How will we get the name of this target object? Here. enemy.bob. Oof. Yeesh, you guys are getting creative. Let's slow down for a little bit, okay? Let me ask you this. In the attack method, what objects do I have access to? If I am a spear and I call the attack method, inside this attack method, what objects do I have access to? I have access to myself, right? Because I'm a spear. And I have access to whatever enemy you've given me, right? I have access to whatever enemy you've given me. Okay, Tadi, you did answer earlier. Let me ask you again. What is the name of the enemy object given to the attack method? What is the name of the enemy object given to the attack method? We haven't yet, but in order to find out how to type that command, we have to know this. It was target. Okay, you said target. That was correct. Okay. So I have access to an object called target here. Okay. Target is of type enemy. And enemies all have two things, right? They have a name and they have an attack method. How do I access target's name? Target dot what? Dot Bob. But what if it's not Bob? What if because here we've called our one zombie Bob and we've called our other one Woody. So remember, our target could be either a cowboy, it could have any name. It doesn't even have to be a zombie. It has a property. Let me ask you that. What is the name of the property I'm trying to access here? What is the name of the property that I'm trying to access? I know this is difficult, and usually I would have just told you guys by now, but it's nice to go through. Exactly. Okay. How will I access target's name? Well, the name of the object is target, and we'll just say dot name. Okay. So you see, any target you give is of type enemy. All enemies have the name property. Okay. All enemies have the name property. So if you say target.name, you'll have access to whatever enemy you're given. Likewise, guys, remember, if we implemented hit points or anything like that in enemies, and they were like an integer saved in like a HP property, you would be able to access it with what? Target.hp, right? Target.level would access the level, for example. We could implement all of these things. Okay. For now, we've got target.name. Okay. So we'll say here, target.name. Okay, so you poke at target.name with your Okay, no, this is getting a bit too much innuendo. Okay, so upoker target.name. All right. Yeah, I think stab is scarier. So let's say stab. More actiony. Okay, there we go. Cool, we now have to do the same thing for boomerang. All right, we have to do the same thing for boomerang. So we'll say console.writeLine. I mean, if Poker would have been great if we were making a comedy game, but we're going for action here. Okay, so we've got boomerangs now. How would well, I guess we could create a comedy attack method and a serious attack method, but that's maybe losing track of what we're here to learn, right? Okay, so public void attack enemy target. Okay, console.writeLine. How are boomerangs going to attack, guys? What should I make the attack method say? Debated. You threw... Yeah, throw makes sense. Let's keep it simple. So we'll say you yeet. Yeet, okay. You yeet your boomerang at... Okay. At... And we're going to put the template tag here. Guys, what am I going to write inside that template tag? Before I even write it, what do you guys think will be inside these two curly brackets here? Precisely. Okay. You yeet your boomerang at target.name. Okay. So now you guys, hopefully what you can see is the eye weapon interface only cares that it's attacking an eye enemy. It doesn't care if it's a cowboy or a zombie or whatever enemy you guys go and add yourselves. Whatever it is, you'll be able to attack it. And it's not going to... It doesn't matter. As long as it's an eye enemy, it will be able to attack it. Okay. Which is like quite an interesting idea. So you don't... If you want to go and add an eye enemy now, another one, you wouldn't have to change the attack method of boomerangs or spears. They'll always work. Okay. You use your boomerang at target name, you stab target name. Okay. But we now need to actually use it. Okay. So I'm going to remove the attacks from the enemy objects. Okay. So, for now, we now want to create weapons. Create weapon objects. Create weapon objects. Okay, guys. So you see we can create more than one, obviously, but let's for now just create one spear and one boomerang. So how am I going to create a spear object, guys? How will I create a spear object? How will I create a spear object? Spear SP equals new spear. Precisely, spear SP equals new spear. Yeah, and there'll be two brackets after those, but in this case they'll be empty. Why? Because our constructor doesn't take anything in. Okay, so we'll say spear, but I like you guys all chose the same acronym as well. You guys are doing well, don't worry. Okay, spear SP equals new spear. How am I going to create a boomerang, guys? How would I create a boomerang? Nice. Okay, capital B though. BM. I'll call mine boom. But again, you guys can call yours whatever you guys want in your boomerang. It's just to show you that the name doesn't matter. Okay. Okay, good stuff. Cool, so we've now created two weapon objects. Okay, so we've got two enemies, we've got two weapons. Now, how will I attack? Let's say I want to attack our zombie object. So we've got one zombie object currently. Okay, one object of type zombie. and we've got one object of type boomerang. Okay, I want to attack the zombie with the boomerang. What would I type? If you guys don't get it immediately, we can break it down more than that, and hopefully you guys will see. Okay, so I want to attack the zombie object that we have with the boomerang object that we have. So I want to use the boomerang to attack the zombie. How will we do it? Okay, maybe we should break it down a little bit more. What is the name of our boomerang object? Boom. Precisely. What is the name of the method that will attack? What is its actual name? Ooh, no. The name of the attack method. The name of the method that will attack. What's its name? I'm not asking for its whole declaration. Let's just go and look. Okay, looking at our class boomerang, what is the name of the method that will allow us to attack? Yes. It's attack. Okay, it's just attack. You see? That's the name of the method. And you must pay attention to the fact that in all of our objects, right? In the spear object, the method is called attack. It does something different, but it's called attack. Inside the boomerang object, it's called attack. Inside the enemy object, it's called attack. I mean, inside the zombie object, it's called attack. Inside the cowboy class, it's also called attack. It's always called attack, right? Likewise, we've got this property, and it's always name. So you'll always, regardless of what object you're working with, it almost doesn't matter what its type is. Okay, it's always called attack. Likewise, with our interface I weapon, it's called attack here, right? In the interface I weapon, it's called attack, which means in every single weapon that we make, if it implements the I weapon interface, it will always be called attack, and it will always be able to take in an I enemy called target. Okay, and you can see that. So spear, it's called attack, and it takes in a target of type I enemy. In boomerang, it's called attack. It takes in a target of type I enemy. Okay, so it's consistent. All right. So we now know the name of the object I want to attack with, and we know the name of the method. So I want to use the boomerang to attack the zombie. What will I type? How do I access that attack method? Let's ask that first. Attack.boom. Would I type? Is that how we do it? More like it. Yeah. Okay, so we'll say something like boom.attack. That's we're on the right track there. Okay, what do I put inside? How do I now specify? Okay, we've got boom.attack. This won't work though. How do I specify the enemy that I want to attack? I want to attack the zombie. What is the name of the zombie, guys? The name of the zombie object. I'm not asking for the name property. It's called zombie1. Okay, you're right, Dape. Its name, the property is Bob, right? But the name of the object is zombie1. So remember, C# doesn't understand this. It sees that as it's just a string. It's not going to use that as code. Okay, we're thinking along the correct lines here. So we've got boom.attack, all right? This allows us to, you can see when we made cowboy attack, we said cb1, right? Because that's the name of our object. cb1.attack. And then we just put these open curly brackets. Okay. So that's how we made the cowboy attack, if you guys recall. And if I print that out, it says what? Woody shoots you. Woody the cowboy shoots at you. Okay. So if I say cb1.attack, it says Woody the cowboy shoots at you. Right? Do you recall this line here? That's what that would say. That's what that would print out. Okay. If I say zombie1.attack, that'll print out Bob the zombie bites you. Right? Bob the zombie bites you. Yo, out of nowhere. Taddy saves the day. Okay. So guys, attack is a method. All right, that's what I want to get across to you. So boom.attack, this is calling the attack method of the boomerang object, this boom object. In order to specify what it must attack, I have to give it a thing of type I enemy. Okay, anything of type I enemy, I can give it to attack and it'll work. Zombies are all I enemies. Cowboys are all I enemies. So if I say zombie 1, this will attack, use the boomerang to attack zombie 1. Okay, that's what that line would do. Okay, looking at that line, how will I use the spear to attack the cowboy? How do I use the spear to attack the cowboy? So we've got a spear object, spear.attack. Remember, you have to use the name of the objects. Hey guys, what is our spear object called? It's called SP. Right, SP. Yeah. But you guys were on the right track, so that's good. So it'll be SP.attack CB1. Yeah, no, I saw your answer earlier, Taddy, and I intentionally just let it slide off the screen. You're confused. What are you? So you're confused about how we're making an attack? What? Okay, but let's just print this out to make sure that it works first. So you see, we say boom.attack zombie 1. It says you yeet your boomerang at Bob, and then we say sp.attack CB1, and it says you stab Woody. Why does our spear attack us? It doesn't attack us. Look, it says you stab Woody. So CB1, oh, cowboys are enemies. Yeah, the cowboys are enemies. No, cowboys are all enemies. We're like a third person. I suppose we should have chosen a more scary enemy, but now it is time to talk about what the assignment is. Okay, so this is saying attack I enemies. This is saying attack I enemies, and then this is saying enemies okay. Stabbeth thee. Well, remember we're stabbing a particular enemy, right? Their name. So we could say stabbeth and then target.name. So like stabbeth Bob. We could do that. Use stabbeth Bob is fine. But you guys can add that now. And so watch the comment that I write here, and then you guys will know your assignment. But don't worry, I'll explain in more detail what we have to do. Okay. The comments I'm going to write. Comments, make your own enemy here. Or below this comment, just to be more specific. Okay. Cool. So, yeah, you can create one. You could also add your own weapon. I know someone added a bazooka to the game at Bryanston. So you're welcome. It's easy to do. So, I don't know, get creative about it. Remember, in order to use your weapon or your enemy, you're going to have to create a enemy object. And you can see here, I've commented nicely. This is where we create the enemy objects on this line here. This is where we create the weapons. If you create an enemy, you can use this to make it attack you. And if you create a weapon, you can use these kinds of commands to make it. Yeah. If you find it easy, that's good for you. I don't know. Some people might not be as... Yeah, sure. Create one of each. Why not? I'll keep the official assignment, make the enemies, but this is a fun one, so feel free to get creative with it. Okay, so yeah, make an interesting enemy, and if you feel like it, make a weapon as well. But yeah, get creative with it and actually use them as well, and then we'll be able to share like what enemies we created in the next class. Okay, so we'll go through. Spider is very cool. Sword is also very cool. Cool. Yeah, so yeah, just now, guys, pay attention to this. All right, pay attention, because you must be able to edit the code that I've created here. All right, so what I'm going to do is save it. This is going to be called Roosevelt High. I'm going to call it interfaces. Okay, interfaces. Okay, I'm going to say everyone can see, only me can edit on this one. That's correct. So I'll say okay. Cool. So let's see how this works. All right. In order to get access to this code in Rex Tester, which is what I recommend, you can, if you want, copy this code into any editor that you're using. I recommend that you use Rex Tester though, because it'll just make it easier to share and stuff later on. Okay. But guys, for the next 5 minutes, just pay attention, because this is how you'll actually do the assignment. Okay, so I've sent you this link, right? You see that link there? If you visit that link, okay, so I'm going to go do that now. Let me open up. Okay, so I've opened up a new tab. I visit that link. Okay, it takes you here. All right, you'll get something like this. Roosevelt High interfaces. That's how you know you're in the right place. All right. You cannot permanently edit this code, okay? You can only view it. How are you going to be able to permanently edit it yourself? You'll go to the bottom of the screen here. You see it says fork it. There's this button that says fork it. You click that, okay? You give it whatever title you want, you know, make my own enemy, maybe specify your name there, whatever. Just give it whatever type you want, okay? You can leave it on everyone can see, only me can edit. That's fine. Click OK. Ooh, too many operations. Try again. Oh, I think it's because I have too many things open at once. Let me just try that again. Make my own enemy. All right, click OK. Okay, it'll give you this link. All right, it gives you this link. This will be to your own version of the code. You see I'm still in Roosevelt High interfaces. I have to visit that link it gave me. Okay, so I visit the link it gave me. Exactly the same code, all right? Now, remember this next step. In order to edit it, you'll have to click Edit Mode. Okay, Edit Mode in the bottom right there. Edit Mode. Then you'll scroll to whatever edits you want to make. You add your changes. So add your changes, whatever. Create your own enemies, create your own weapons, go crazy. And then you click Save Edits. Okay. And just give it the same name so that it overwrites. Okay, and then it says version created, updates saved. Okay. Yeah, I was just explaining how to do this. Oh, okay. Well, you don't have to rush, right? You have a whole week, and also I think it will work on some phones, hey? Like if you're using Google Chrome as your browser, it will actually work on a mobile phone. Because it doesn't have to download anything. But it depends on what your browser compatibilities are. Okay, but that is that, all right? But remember to go through all those steps. Remember to save when you're done, okay? Click Save Edits and give it the same name so it overwrites, okay? A little bit confusing, but then next week you'll be able to send me this link. You'll be able to send me this link exactly. Well, you'll go into fork mode. You'll be able to send me this link exactly. I'll be able to visit it and just view your changes. Yeah, I can answer whatever questions you have now as well. Yeah, sure. You can't go into edit mode. Oh, it might be if you have Rex Tester open in another tab, close it. You're only allowed one tab at a time. Okay, you can't run infinitely many code things. So if you have Rex Tester open in another tab, close that first, maybe refresh the page as well, and then you'll be able to do it. Okay. Cool. Yeah, you're welcome to ask questions. I'm not going to do the assignment this time. We'll review the assignment next week. Okay, so I'll also share the code to the assignment, the link to the assignment in thingy on the WhatsApp group. Okay, but yeah, we'll do that later. So after we conclude, put the link in the YT vid. Yeah, I'll always put it in the description as well. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, yeah, I suppose I can stick around and ask questions, but let's maybe end the broadcast there. I think 1.5 hour videos are more palatable. Do you have any questions, Taddy or Bryn, for me to cover in the next sort of 30 minutes or however long it takes? Well, they were asking me specifically about questions, but if you have anyone in the chat who has any questions, 100% ask them now. It's not exclusively Taddy and Bryn who can ask questions, but yeah, anyone who has any questions, you can go ahead and ask them. Yeah, you'll have to sign in order to fork it. Only 8 people can. Sad. Oh yeah, I mean other people. Unfortunately, because I've set the videos onto onto Made for Kids, they can't ask questions on the YouTube. But anyone else who has questions can just post them on WhatsApp as well. That's fine too. But yeah, you have to create. You have to sign up for Xtester in order to use all this stuff. But it's a nice thing, and you can see like on their code wall they have amazing amounts of coding examples. Like I've actually used this recently because you can like pick whatever language you want to see examples from. Like let's look at some Python, and then you can see that they've got tons of examples of different code. Okay, it's questionable as to whether or not you'll be able to save your changes though. Reconnecting. Did you fork it as well? Yeah, anyone who has any questions you can ask. You did that as well. Okay, that's cool. If you're not signed in and it's allowing you to do that kind of stuff, then 100% continue on. I would recommend though make an account, because I'm not sure how it's going to link your saves to you if you don't have an account. So okay, cool. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen now, but I'm staying in the chat. Anyone who has any questions, now's a good time to ask. Actually, now might also be a good time to add all of these new people to the register now that the broadcast should. Yeah. Okay. Cool. No problem. Yeah, you guys can go now. It's the official lesson time is 1.5 hours. Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording now. Thank you for coming, everyone. See you guys next week as well. Yeah, if you have any questions, don't forget you can also post on WhatsApp.